Hello everybody, it's Kimmy Lynn here, your favorite Ginge, for obvious reasons. Well, I'm back with a video like I promised. Today we're going to talk about, oh Lord, I don't know people, I don't know what to think. Because we'll get into this. So let me take you back and let me remind you all that I haven't said this before, but I do need to make sure that I let you all know that these videos are for educational and entertainment purposes only. And whenever we're talking about, true crime and cases and that, all that stuff, let's remember that innocent until proven guilty. So, everything is allegedly. So I just want to make that clear. Oh yeah, and if you, like what you see with my videos as I'm starting off new here. So don't forget though, if you want to follow along with me, to hit those subscribe button and the like button down below. And don't forget to leave comments, because especially with this case, I definitely got to hear your guys' comments and see what you think, because this is pretty crazy. So as I was saying, back in 2016, there was a case that made it nationwide. It was huge. The case about Sherri Papini. I don't know, you guys remember that? Oh Lord. It was that crazy story of, it was, she was, this young, white, blonde, woman who had like the perfect life, as, some might think. She had the high school sweetheart husband. I think they said high school sweetheart, but I don't know. In this, I read the report that they put out. There's a 53-page report, and I read it all. And there's a couple different ex-boyfriends, and she was actually married before. So I'm not sure about the whole, I don't know, maybe they met in high school, I don't know. But anyway, regardless, but he had this really great job and all of that. And he came home, and she was missing, and then he found her phone and her headphones, and they were like sitting, it was like weird because, it was this whole thing that was like sitting there so perfectly. So if somebody were to be kidnapped, don't you think that the their phone and headphones would be kind of just like scattered, not set so nicely down, like together, and not harm, you know what I mean? But anyway, so instead of, I don't want to get too much into that, but I want to give you a backup of what's going on now, because if you haven't seen the news lately, she just got arrested for this. So, for faking it. That's what they're saying, is that she faked it all. And boy, when I tell you this story, I don't know, because, it's like, okay, yeah, she faked it, but when I tell you kind of how they, like, where they got this information and why they're charging her with faking it, it could still be that this ex-boyfriend that she was with for those like 21 days or whatever it was that she was gone, it could have been that maybe he did do it. Maybe because she was leading him on, and maybe she was telling him, I'm going to leave him for you and all these things, and he beats me, and she was giving this whole story. And maybe, he goes to get her, and while she's there, she decides, oh, I want to go back home. I don't want this. I want to go back to my nice cushy life, and then he got mad or something. Who knows? I don't know. But let's get into this, all right? So as I was saying, back in oh yeah, please, real quick, don't mind. I literally burnt the skin off my face right there with my straightener. So it's stinging pretty bad right now. But anyway, okay. So as I was saying, back in 2016, she goes missing. There's this whole, oh my gosh. I mean, they did a Dateline special. He was on Good Morning America. He was doing all those interviews. You had Nancy Grace out there. You had all kinds of, they were doing this whole nationwide hunt. The FBI is in on it. All kinds of stuff, right? And So she's gone. There's no trace of her, nothing. And then all of a sudden, 21 days later, she is found on I-5 in California. And I think it was a trucker. It was a lady trucker who pulled over, you know, and got her and picked her up. And this trucker, even the lady that helped her, even she was on the news, right? Like, sticking up for her. Like, she didn't make this up. Because the thing was when she was found and she went to the police and all of that, she was really, like, she wasn't giving a lot of details. The husband actually, like, they had to give the husband, to do the recording, you know, because she didn't really want to talk to police, because apparently the Hispanic women that she said that, you know, took her, there was a younger and an older one that she put this blame on. It was these two Hispanic women, and they told her the cops were involved. So, you know, all this stuff. So she was really, like, didn't want to talk to the police. And so the little bit of information, though, that she would over time start giving, just, it didn't add up. But here's the thing: when she was found, her hair was like all chopped off. She had bruises. She had a broken nose. She was branded on her arm. I mean, who could do all that to themselves, right? If they were fake, I mean, who could do that to themselves? So people out there were like, no way, this girl did not do this to herself. You know, and that's where Nancy Grace, she was, you know, pleading her case. Like, nobody would do that to themselves. This girl's not faking it. You know, she was found with chains and all this stuff. And yeah, so anyway, so that was, you know, she just came up with all these little things. And, you know, and she'd lost all this weight. You know, she was already pretty skinny, but she'd gotten down to like 80 some pounds and all this. And so she looked awful, right? So anyway, here we are to fast forward to 2022, just a few days ago, and she gets arrested. Now, in the report that I read, it was 53 pages, right? And I read through it pretty fast, because a lot of it was kind of repetitive in a way, and it was like I was, you know, doing fast reading, so I got all of what it was. And I really, you know, and I read the parts that were like, okay, I really need to pay attention to this part and that part. So let me tell you what this report said. Apparently, she had been talking to her ex-boyfriend, okay? And she had been telling him that she was in this, you know, her husband, he puts his hands on her, and, you know, and she's just in this really awful marriage, and she wants to get away from him. And now, mind you, apparently it has come out too that she is somebody that they did interviews, and they found that she was somebody, since she was young, who liked to tell stories, right? She would just always make up things. She would lie. She would, one of the ex-boyfriends said that, you know, that, she would, like, if she wasn't getting enough attention, she'd come up with like, oh my God, this happened to me, you know. And so, yeah, and I guess, you know, friends back then and stuff that she knew, they all said, you know, she was really wild and crazy. And yeah, and she told a lot of lies. And she was even in like youth group, and I believe one of the youth pastors, like, because she was so bad, he knew that she was like one of those girls. He scared her, like, because he knew that she's one of these girls. She tells such extravagant stories that, yeah, she scared him. So anyway, so let's get back to this. Sorry that I'm kind of jumping around. Just bear with me with this, but it's kind of crazy. But so yeah, she's telling this ex-boyfriend they had like disposable phones that they would talk to each other, right? Well, finally she's like, I'm gonna leave him, and I'm gonna mail you the address of where I want you to pick me up. And he lives like 1,000 miles away from her or something like that. And so that's what he did. And he had a cousin that actually because she wanted this to be so, like, everything had to be like, you can't use your own vehicle, rent a car. So his cousin rented a car, and that's what he went to go pick her up in. And basically, she didn't want anybody to see her on this drive, so she, like, laid in the back the whole way there. They only stopped a couple times to go to the bathroom and get, like, food, snacks. So anyway, and then when they get to, like, his place, and mind you, this all came out because his DNA came back on her underwear. So yeah, we'll get to that at the end, but that's kind of, I think, what helped break this, how this kind of started unraveling, So yeah, so anyway, they get to his place, and she kind of, like, picks the room that she wants, and it's like a room that didn't have a lot of windows. She just wanted to be by herself, and she basically spent all her time in this room. And mind you, then she even asked him to board up the windows. Like, she wanted to make sure that the windows were, like, covered. So he, like, put up these boards or some type of wood or something like that. And then he said that they were not sexual. This was not a sexual thing. And he had to work, and, like, he had a life. So, like, he just left her, and she just stayed at the place all day, right? He stayed at his house all day. And, and then she, as far as, like, how she lost weight, she told him that she wanted to lose weight. He didn't think anything of it. I mean, he kind of thought, gosh, you don't need to. You're already, you look great. You don't need to lose weight. But she wanted to, and, So, like, when he brought food home or things like that, she would just eat a little bit. She would just, like, if there was, like, a banana there, she would eat half. She just ate very, very, very small amounts. And then she started telling him, I want you to hit me. Hit me. I want you to hit me. And he's like, what? I've never hit a woman, and I never would. I never will. I don't do that kind of thing, So I guess he didn't hit her, but he thought it was odd, because the next thing he notices, she is starting to hit herself. She's starting to cause injuries on herself. Things like that, so it was really strange. And I believe with the broken nose, he did come out. I can't remember how he said. I read it, but I can't remember what it was of how he actually broke the nose. I don't know if he used something, or I don't know. But he said that she was, like, hitting her head on the bathroom or something, on the bathtub or something. She started, just crazy things, and he's like, what the heck, And then the branding part. So she tells him, I want to brand myself. And she came up with some phrase, and she said to him, this phrase that she wanted, it was something that meant something to her, but she couldn't be seen out. So he needed to go to Hobby Lobby and purchase this wood burning kit, like if you were gonna just do, craft stuff with wood and do that. So he got that stuff, and yeah, and he told police, because it was on her, what did he say? I think he's left-handed. So he did it on her left shoulder, right? Was it left shoulder? I don't know, whatever. So, but it made sense, because where the branding was, he's left-handed. So he said, that way he could get a good grip and on it. So I think it was her right arm. So yeah, he used his left hand and, put his hand on the front to hold her, and but yeah, and so then he did this for her, and then I guess, she had him buy all this stuff, he bought some, like, cream for it, to help it heal so it didn't get infected. And she would clean his house and stuff, and so she got some kind of rash all over herself, and so she, like, gave him a list of different creams for rashes, at the store to buy. And so, he got all that stuff, and he doesn't know why or how she got this rash. And I guess the way I read it, I took it that maybe it had to do with the cleaning, because it talked about it, like how she cleaned and he had all these cleaning chemicals, and then she had this rash. So that's kind of how I take it. And then it's just a really crazy story. And then also, so the cousin that rented the car, apparently one night, he forgot, like, so he told his family that she was gonna be there, but you know, don't come over. You can't come over. And so this guy's mom knew that she was there. And the cousin and the cousin's girlfriend or wife knew she was there. And so, but one night, the cousin had forgot, you know, that she was there, and he was going to come over. And apparently, as he headed to go over there, she was standing in the window. And so he saw her, and when she saw him, she, you know, quickly disappeared and hid. So, yeah, crazy story. This stuff is crazy. So basically, this is so this stuff is all in the report, and of course you can read it if you want more info. I can read it to you, but like I said, it's 53 pages. But if you want me to, let me know. I will do that. But yeah, it's really crazy. I'll see if I can get the link to because apparently they said this was like a leaked one. I don't know. They say that stuff, but they always get out, don't they? It seems like. But if, you know, the thing is, if this all is in the report, just think of this evidence that they have that they're keeping to themselves for trial, right? Because, you know, of course, I mean, with all this evidence that they have. So anyway, then what happened was, towards, you know, the end, she started talking about how she missed her kids and she should go home. You know, she needs to go home. So again, they got a rental, and she had him drive her and drop her off about 30-ish miles, 125, something like that, miles from home, from her house. And so that's where he dropped her off, and he took off. Well, then of course, and he saw this stuff on the, you know, and of course on the news. She was all over the news with the missing reports and all of that. Remember all of that? Well, he was seeing this, and she said, you know, and she knew that, you know, she told him that, yeah, I know, I'm on the news everywhere, you know, but I don't want to see it, you know, I don't want to. So she like kind of asked him to like not watch, or he didn't have a TV. So but she knew because of like her phone. And he kind of course, still he just didn't know what was going on with this girl. She just thought he didn't really know, you know, he just kind of left her to herself. And again, he says it was not a intimate relationship, but mind you, his DNA was in her underwear. So, but I mean, if she was there for 3 weeks, and apparently like that's all she really wore. She changed into some like sweat, I guess, like she only changed a couple times, but she always wore the same underwear. So I don't know. I mean, you're living in somebody's place, I guess his DNA could get on your underwear, but I don't know. So here we are, and they just arrested her now, right? So they get all this information. They're finding out that she's a big storyteller, that, you know, she lies, she's just this compulsive liar. So yeah, so now they've arrested her, you know. And and I don't know if you remember, there was a GoFundMe page. So yeah, like all these people that, you know, were donating. I mean, it was like, I forgot how much money, like 30-some thousand, I believe. And they basically said that they used it to pay off credit cards and then spent the rest, you know. And then, so I don't know, this is really crazy, but she can face, because I mean, the FBI was involved with this, and she had, you know, like she said, she blamed these Hispanic women, and she, you know, had them do drawings. And she would start coming up when she started actually talking details of like, oh, okay, I remember the room, I remember this detail, and I remember that detail. Those details that she was giving were literally the details of like this guy's house, the ex-boyfriend, like the coffee table that she tried to say that she was on. That was his coffee table. She said there was a pole, like, so she was chained to the pole that was in a closet. And well, yeah, he had a pole in his closet, but it was not like any, it wasn't for anything bad, but you know, so she just was she was using these details to make up her supposed kidnapping. So yeah, I don't know, but you know, it's like, I don't know, what do you guys think? Do you think that she led him on to, you know, because they even traced and figured out the whole cell phone thing and how they were contacting, and how long ago they were contacting each other before all this happened, and you know, whatnot. And so I don't know. I mean, what do you think? Do you think she's just a complete narcissistic psychopath? Do you think that she's just got, I mean, that's crazy to, I mean, to brand yourself? Jeez, like you gotta, that's quite the headspace you gotta be in to be able to do stuff like that to yourself. And to, I mean, oh my Lord, you know. But they did say that like her bruises and stuff were, when they found her, you know, the bruising on her, you know, you could tell that there was like old bruises and new bruises, things like that. So, and he did say that she was hitting herself over time and whatnot. So I don't know, but then who knows? Maybe, like I said in the beginning, do you think maybe that she led him on and made him think that, like, you know, she was this battered woman and she was going to leave for him, and, you know, you're the love of my life all this time, you know, who knows, right? And then when he gets her and he kind of figures some stuff out, and he got mad or something and decided, you know, was infatuated with her or mad at her for, I don't know what to think. But, you know, he's not arrested. So that's what's hard to say. It's like, he's not arrested, but maybe he, you know, he got immunity for giving the story, you know. And he said the reason he never said anything was because it was like, once this all stuff came out, and then he started seeing like what the story she spun about being kidnapped and held, but you know, this whole story that she did and said and got all these people out there to believe happened to her, and it spread nationwide. He was like, oh my gosh, like if I say something now, they're gonna think I'm the one who did it. So I don't want no mess. I don't want no part of this mess, you know? So I don't know though. I really don't know what to think, because even by reading that 53 page report, there was nothing in there. It still left me with so many questions, you know, that are so, I mean, it just still leaves like, huh? Okay, well, he's saying these things, but it's not, I don't know, you know, and yeah, they have some evidence to corroborate it, but what he's saying, but still, you know what I mean? So, I don't know, folks. I don't know. What do you think? You think she's just a compulsive, lying, narcissistic psychopath? Do you think that there's more to this story and that he's more involved than what is being spun right now? And so I don't know. But her family is completely still standing by her. They believe her story still so yeah, even though she got arrested, she's out on bail. So yeah, so I don't know when trial is, you know, of course, because this just happened. So I don't think they have a trial date yet. They might, but we'll have to see. So make sure to subscribe and hit that like button so that you can get notified. Yeah, because I'll definitely be keeping up on this story for sure. For sure. So yeah. So I hope you guys liked tonight's story. And like I said, let me know what your thoughts are too. I want to hear what everybody else thinks about this, because it's just crazy, right? Like, that's just crazy. It's a crazy story. So yeah, anyway. All right, well, I'll let y'all go for now, and I hope you enjoyed hanging out with Kimmy Lynn, your favorite Jen. So I'll see you all next time. Have a beautiful rest of your Sunday evening, and I will see you soon. All right.